Hey everyone, Gary of the Elysiums here. Welcome to New CD Purchases Part 61. This one is a very special part because of the last CD I'm going to show here. It's it's probably one of the greatest finds ever in used CD hunting. But before we get this video, do me a favor, like I always say. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like this video. Feel free to share this video. Help support my channel. I greatly appreciate it. So this is all thrifting. Thrift shops, Goodwill stores, all that. And got a pretty decent haul. Like I said, the last CD is super special. I was excited for it. And then there is one CD on here that I did not purchase. But I'll get into that. So, speaking of getting into that, let's get right into it. Van Zandt, Brother to Brother. So this is the two brothers of Ronnie Van Zandt from, obviously, the late Ronnie Van Zandt from Lynyrd Skynyrd. This features Donnie Van Zandt of 38 Special and Johnny Van Zandt, who is the current lead singer of Lynyrd Skynyrd, but not the original lead singer. Unfortunately, Ronnie never really got to make sing with these two guys. Well, if he did sing with those two guys, it's not recorded as far as I know. This is the 1998 release. I have a few of Johnny Van Zandt's solo albums along with the Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff, and I also have a lot of 38 Special, but nothing from Van Zandt Brothers. And then I also have this, or I found this, Van Zandt, Get Right With The Man. This is, I don't know if this is a follow-up. That was 98, this is 2005, so could be a follow-up, I'm not really sure. But yeah, these two guys, their vocals go perfect with each other, and it's obviously some good Southern rock with, needless to say, influences of, modern-day Lynyrd Skynyrd and 38 Special. I say modern-day Lynyrd Skynyrd, I almost say new Lynyrd Skynyrd, because Johnny's first studio album with the band was back in 1991, so he's been with the band longer than Ronnie has, believe it or not. Next up is one by 38 Special I've never seen before. This is Drivetrain. Excuse me. So when I saw this, I obviously had to pick it up. I didn't realize that 38 Special had a newer album. This is from 2004. I didn't realize they released an album in 2004. So I was excited to find this. I didn't listen to it yet, but I definitely will be listening to it. And this one I found too. I've never actually seen this in a while. It's not really worth much. This is actually worth this is going for upwards of $40 on Discogs, which is crazy. Probably because it's so rare. So this next one I've never seen out in the wild. It only goes for $3 or $4 on Discogs, which I don't really care. I don't collect CDs to resell them. But this is Mr. Moonlight. It's a 1994 studio album from Foreigner. Lou Gramm is in the band, as you can see him there. Mick Jones. This is a different release though, Rhythm Safari from 1995. When I looked it on Discogs, it said it was out of Europe, and it's a CDR format. I do have a few of these weird CDRs that look pretty official but aren't, and they still sound great. But excited to find that Foreigner CD. Then I found a bunch of butt rock, dad rock, whatever you want to call it now. Theory of a Dead Man. This is their self-titled debut album. I have what's it, Scars and Souvenirs it's called. I was excited for that one. I do like that album. But I've never listened to this. This is a 2002 release. So, I have a lot of listening to do with this stack because it's a lot of stuff I haven't heard before, which is super cool. So I'm excited to pop that one in. And then we have Breaking Benjamin with Dark Before Dawn. I didn't really... This is a 2015 release from Breaking Benjamin. I didn't really stick with the band. I did like their first few albums. Thought they were pretty decent. It's definitely hard rock and butt rock. But this one's funny. It's actually... The band just says Benjamin... what's his name? Benjamin Burnley is the only member on this. Yeah, Benjamin Burnley. obviously Breaking Benjamin, with a bunch of session musicians, I guess, recorded the album. But I didn't realize, I don't know, I didn't really keep up with but I didn't realize that it's, the band, the original band just fell apart, I guess, and it's only the one, Benjamin himself still going. Then we have Modern Vintage from 6 a.m. Okay. The Heroin Diaries soundtrack, which came out, was the debut album from 6 a.m. I liked a lot. I never really got into them too much after that. I'm gonna try to change that though. I'm gonna listen to this. I'm a huge Motley Crue fan. I do like Nikki Sixx, whether he actually plays or not. DJ Ashba is a great guitarist, so I'm fans of them guys, and I figure, what, let's give it a try again. I have a greatest hits, like a double CD from 6 a.m. I think it's called Hits or something, which the only song that was Life is Beautiful is the only song I've heard on the radio here. So I don't know if they have a lot more hits. Like I said, I never really got into them after the Heroin Diaries soundtrack, but I'm looking to change that. And then this is one I actually never had. Saving Abel. This is the self-titled debut featuring Addicted. That was a huge, huge song for the band. It's still ranked up there with like some of like the greatest butt rock or dad rock songs. It's crazy I'm saying dad rock when this is like stuff that was out in my 20s. When I was in my 20s. Some in my 30s. I just guess I'm just old. Anyway, just the lyrics from Addicted, I'm kind of shocked that they got some radio play of the things they say on there. Excuse me. Next up, we got Billy Idol with Whiplash Smile. I was excited to find this because I don't own this by Billy Idol. I have I have Rebel Yell and the self-titled album, Vital Idol. It has a couple greatest hits. I have a couple of his 90s CDs. That one with I forget the name of it, like that late 90s, almost like techno album he made. I have that. But this one is an 86 release that I do not have, which I was excited when I saw this. Definitely had to pick it up. This one, there was actually 2 copies there, back to back, and I picked one up. I never knew that this guy had solo albums. Honestly, Alvin Lee of 10 Years After. This is the anthology, so it's a 2-disc set, 24 tracks in total. Alvin Lee, such a great guitarist. He's so overrated. Like I said, from 10 Years After, I really fell in love with 10 Years After seeing the performance of Going Home from the Woodstock DVD, the Woodstock movie. Ever since then, I've been a fan because, man, he plays that song so bluesy, so good. And I'm really excited for this because it's a lot of stuff from the 90s on here, like 80s and 90s that Alvin Lee did solo that I'm very unfamiliar with. So I'm excited to check this out. This is like I said, 2-disc set released in 2002 on Repertoire Records out of the United Kingdom. And then I have the Best of Gary Hoey, which was cool to find because my 2 Gary Hoey CDs are actually autographed, so I don't really listen to them. I just keep them in the cellophane wrapping. I know I've shown my autographed CDs a few videos back, so if you want to know which ones I had or want to check them out, it was a couple videos ago. So yeah, this was cool to find. 18 tracks. This was released in 2004. Gary Hoey, another great guitarist that's very underrated. I don't know why his name doesn't really get mentioned amongst, like, when they do those lists of like the 100 greatest guitarists and all that. They never put him in there for some reason. Along with Alvin Lee is always skipped over. This I picked up. Fine Young Cannibals with this is called The Finest. It's a greatest hits compilation from 1996. I do own the their big album. I can't remember the name of it, with She Drives Me Crazy on it. There's just so much music knowledge to keep up in here, and it's really fried. So yeah, I do forget names of it, especially stuff that I don't really listen to that often. So yeah, excited to find this. I was listening to in the car. I was kind of skipping through some tracks. Suspicious Minds is on here, the Elvis cover, and it's absolutely horrendous. I don't know why anyone let them do that. It's just really bad. I don't really know any big hits by the band besides She Drives Me Crazy. So the fact that they have 14, well, it's called the finest. It's not really called the greatest hits or anything. It's probably the finest songs. And if their cover Suspicious Minds is on there, then I don't know how that is one of their finest songs. Next up, Glenn Frey with Live. Glenn Frey had a very successful solo career after leaving the Eagles. So this is actually, there's a lot of Eagles tracks on here that he covers. I say covers because it's not the Eagles, it's just Glenn Frey. Even though he's, you know, one of the main members of the Eagles, and, you know, unfortunately he passed away. So we got Peaceful Easy Feeling, New Kid in Town, Lion Eyes, Take It Easy, Heartache Tonight, Desperado, and then his big hit, The Heat Is On. What was that from Miami Vice? I think it was from Miami Vice. Next up is Two from Medina Lake. Not really familiar with this band, but I saw that they were signed to Roadrunner Records, so that stuck out to me because I'm a big fan of Roadrunner Records, and I usually like everything that's on the label. This I gotta listen to a little more, I guess. It sounds very like emo, almost pop punk to me. A little heavier than pop punk, but emo. I threw this CD on in the car, listened to a couple tracks, like not even the full song, so I can't really judge, but for me it just didn't really sound like my type of music, something I'd listen to, but I could always go back and check it out and see what's going on with the band. And like I said, I'm not talking bad about the band, just not my cup of tea, not something I normally listen to. So this is From Them, Through Us to You. And then this is Addicts to Eden. And as I said, I don't really know much about the band, so I can't really say anymore. But, you know, I'll give them another shot. I'll see how I feel and if I really like them. And then this is another band that I've heard of. I was 100% familiar with. Sick Puppies, Dressed Up as Life. I did like this a lot more than Medina Lake. But, again, I don't know if it's something I'm really going to grab all the time. But like I said, I just listened to a couple tracks real quick in the car, and I didn't give it a full listen, so we'll see what happens. This I picked up, Jerry Harrison, Casual Gods. I'm a big Talking Heads fan, so when I saw Jerry Harrison, the guitarist from Talking Heads, doing a solo album, I just figured, why not? I'll pick it up. So these pictures in here, I was looking through the booklet. Apparently, these are pictures taken in Brazil in like 1988. They're doing something. There's a little these are not scenes from a movie. These pictures were taken last year in Brazil. 50,000 men are digging for gold in a hole that was once a mountain. Though they look like swarming ants or endless caravans of pack animals, they are men reduced to this condition by poverty and the bewildering indifference of casual gods. So I don't know if these guys are forced to dig for diamonds, or, you know, that's their job. Anyway, that's what the book was about, because I was kind of curious once I started seeing the pictures. Did not listen to it yet though, so excited to check this out and see what I think. Then we have Blackstone Cherry. This is with Folklore and Superstition. Again, signed to Roadrunner Records. I'm a fan of Blackstone Cherry's first album. Very hard Southern rock is what I call it. It's heavy Southern rock in the new millennium. So this is this may be their follow-up album, not sure. I know their first album came out in 2006. This is a 2008 release, so it could be their follow-up. And then we found this one also. This is Kentucky. This is in a digipack, and it's kind of weird to see how the guys look. This is a 2015 release. So going from that first album when all the guys had long hair to like now they look like country superstars. So I thought that was kind of odd. Not odd, you know, we all change. And then we got their kids on there. So I did read that this is a different type of sound for Blackstone Cherry. They're a little more mature, a little slowed down. So I can't really tell you much more than that. That's all I can read about it. So I'll check it out and see what I think. And then we have Maximum Cure. So this is one of those, how do they call it, CD audio biographies. The ones that used to come in a little sleeve, little cardboard sleeve with a poster. It says down there, free mini posters. Sleeve and the poster was missing, but the CD was still there. Being that I am a huge Cure fan, and I do pick this up. So I do pick up these interview discs from bands that I'm like really into. I don't often listen to them. It's just more of something that to put in a collection. Like, I know I have like Limp Bizkit, I have Aerosmith, I think I have Oasis, a couple of different ones, but I'll pick up if I see them super cheap. And, you know, for 99 cents, I figured, you know, it's worth that picture of Robert Smith alone for 99 cents. Like I said, I might listen to it, I might not sure yet. I do listen to every CD in my collection, for those of you that are wondering. So, yes, I will listen to this eventually. Will I put it on repeat? Probably not, but I'll listen to it. Then we get a little country here. Hank Williams. This is the original Hank Williams Sr. This is called Lost Highway, December 1948 to March 1949, Volume 3. There are 21 tracks on here. We got some session recordings, overdubbed non-session recordings, and non-session recordings. Pretty excited to listen to this because this early country from Hank Williams in the 40s is like so haunting. Just the way it was recorded and his voice. Hank was battling some demons with alcohol, so definitely took a toll on his vocal cords, but I think it made him very unique. And Hank just died way too soon, excuse me. And, you know, he never got to see the impact he would make on country music, being as big as it is today. All right, next we have Traffic with Smiling Phases. This is a Fat Boy box, 2-disc set. Just basically a greatest hits, 26 songs all together. Traffic, such a great underrated band. You know, it's a super group of sorts before becoming a super group. So we got Steve Winwood, who would form Traffic after leaving the Spencer Davis group. Dave Mason would go on to form Traffic with Steve Winwood, but would leave after the first 2 albums. You got Chris Wood, you got Jim Capaldi, who would go on and, you know, be great session players on different albums. But let me tell you what one of my biggest pet peeves is. This is probably my biggest pet peeve when it comes to CDs. And I know some of you guys probably agree with me. You actually hate it. The spine. You see how they, this is how the CD looks. See, that's not a good one to show. Let's do the Blackstone Cherry. See that spine? How you can read it straight down. Everything's normal. You put it next to Traffic, it's totally different. It's upside down. I hate when CDs are made like that. It's my biggest pet peeve. So, like, you have to turn it around so it looks like that. I know, I have OCD when it comes to this. But, man, it's just like one of my pet peeves. I hate when CDs are like that. Like, why did you do that? I don't think it's an overlook because there's so many like that. Paul McCartney comes to mind. Paul McCartney does it a lot on his CDs. I'm not saying he does it, the label does it, but I don't know why you have to do that. Us OCD CD collectors are driving us crazy. And another one that's very noticeable is the self-titled Motley Crue album from 1994. And then they remastered it and did the same exact thing. It just drives me crazy, especially when you have to, like, when both sides are backwards and you have to, like, turn it upside down, flip it sideways like this just to fit in there, just so it's lined up along with everything and you can read it properly. Yeah. Anyway, that's my pet peeve rant for the day. Now, before I get into the CD I said, which was one of the greatest finds I found, my dad was over at my grandfather's house, my late grandfather's house, down in his garage, which the man had so many car parts and so many different collectibles thing. And he came across this Muddy Waters CD, and, you know, my dad, obviously knowing that I'm a big CD collector, he texted me and said, "Hey, you want this?" And I'm like, yeah, of course. You know, not only is it I like Muddy Waters and I love CDs, it was my grandfather's, so of course I wanted it. It's one of those cheap CDs, those cheap budget CDs. Nothing special about it, but opening it, the CD is gold though. That's kind of cool. Opening it, there was a receipt in here, and when I opened the receipt, it's from Tower Records, the great Tower Records, and it leads me to believe that this was probably my uncle's CD that he either had at my grandfather's garage or my grandfather took it for some reason. Excuse me. So this is from April 13th of 2003 at 5 o'clock. And it makes me think, did I go with him? Because we would go together a lot to Tower Records. You know, he would do his thing, I would get my stuff. So this was 22 years ago. The reason I think it's my uncle's is because, you know, obviously I just said we would go together. But they also bought Stevie Ray Vaughan. It just says live, so I'm not sure what the live album is. And the Muddy Waters. So Stevie Ray Vaughan CD was $13.99, and this Muddy Water was $7.99. But you know, something I'm gonna keep because it's a great memory of going to Tower Records and different you know, CD stores with my uncle, who is no longer with me or with us, and it's also my grandfather. So that's going to be kept in there, and definitely going to be kept the rest of my life. And like I said, I may have been with him when we went to Tower Records because being that it's a Tower Records that was close to my house, he would you know, call me and see if I wanted to go with him, or just stop by and say, hey, we're going to Tower Records, let's go, which I absolutely loved. And you know, I miss my grandfather and my uncle dearly, so really cool to find that. And you know, not to get too sentimental, but like, don't take anyone for granted, especially your family members. Do you know how many times I needed to call my grandfather and call my uncle and tell him things that only we had in common and no one else, and I can't? It sucks. So, you know, treat everybody with respect and love everybody while they're here, because we're just here for a short time, not a long time. Anyway, now we're gonna get into probably my greatest find ever at a CD store. When I saw this, I was super excited. I saw other albums by this guy in the past, but I have seen this one. It is Whenever You Need Somebody by Rick Astley. And yes, you just got rickrolled. Features the humongous hit, Never Gonna Give You Up. Another huge hit, Together Forever. I don't care what anyone says. Those songs are catchy. Look at that original pressing from 1987. I don't care how hardcore of a metalhead you are or how big of a hip-hop head you are. These songs are catchy. I mean, just look at that guy. Just the piercing eyes. Just ladies are dropping their panties just looking at him, buying the CD. Probably go down as one of the greatest albums of all time. Alright everyone, so that is my newest CD purchases video. This was part 61. I want to thank you everyone for watching and subscribing, all that fun stuff. You know, let's chat in the comments what you think. You know, I like chat with you guys. Well, yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.